Yes.
Alrighty, we're
This
back.
is the CI tournament, 2015 Division II Friday night recap, Saturday morning send off preview.
Whatever we're calling
whatever
Saturday
whatever word
morning.
we're using.
It's Friday night for us right now. It'll be Saturday morning for most of you on the East Coast that are watching.
It might be Saturday morning now for those people on the East Coast.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know if
Yeah.
I hope there's not a whole lot of East Coast people still watching.
Happy
If
Valentine's
that's what your
Day.
Friday night's looking like.
Happy Valentine's Day, John. All right.
Yeah, same to you.
All right, Division II. I've said this, a few times now. This is the best Division II out there.
Oh yeah.
Go to other tournaments. Division II is not that strong. Maybe there's one really good team and a bunch of weak teams.
I think this is really. There's not a lot of majors for Division II. I would call this probably the biggest for Division II.
Because what you have is you have teams who are 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, that range in like an elite division, going head-to-head for a chance to win a tournament. Some really, really good junior high teams who challenge top 2, 3, 4 teams in the country during practice. And they're all competing here. And normally if you go to a tournament, sometimes they don't even call it Division II, but you have your top division and your second division. And your second division, there's 2 teams that have a chance to win it, and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's it. I don't say that to be disrespectful. I've participated in some of these Division II tournaments and was able to rack up some wins.
That's where all my glory days were, was Division II.
Division II. You were a fantastic Division II
Oh,
quizzer,
thank you.
So as we look at Division II, I want to say I think there's a separation in Division II also. Let me get to
definitely.
that. But I think the separation is a little bit higher up. The first team, the top team, is Heritage.
Great night tonight. Started the night 5 highs. Their last quiz of the night, they took a mid.
And who was that middle to?
Who was that middle to? It was to Falls, right?
Well, I mean, look at this. Here, you're going off spouting stats, and we don't even know. Who are we looking at? Heritage?
Falls.
Falls.
Yep, it was to Falls.
And Falls is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And if Falls continues to win, they would win that tie with Heritage.
Yes.
But right now, Heritage has had more quizzes, and so right now Heritage has the lead.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
But
gonna be
Falls
close.
would win.
It's close.
It's kind of like they say in sports: if the season ended today, this is how they would be seeded. But you know what? The season doesn't end today.
Not today.
We know there's more quizzes tomorrow.
There's more coming.
So here's the thing: Falls will win the head-to-head tie with Heritage if it comes to that.
Yes.
And they're the 2 teams tied. So let me start by saying that. But technically, because it's not over, we'll say Heritage. So anyway, but those 2 teams are your top 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
What I said about Falls, I didn't have them quite as high. Both Falls teams have surprised me, and surprised me well. And I like to be surprised in that way. I don't like to be surprised the other way. I don't like to be surprised by teams.
Team does poorly.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's not the kind of surprise I like.
That's never fun.
But here's the thing: is you go to most Division II tournaments out there, and we're talking about the top 2 teams. Those are the 2 teams who have a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
The list stops there. That's the list. Usually.
Yeah.
Not so. We have number 3. We have Faith, California. I'm going to be honest.
They looked really good tonight.
They did. And based on what I've seen, the eyeball test, which means very little, my eyeball test tells me Faith, California is the best team that I saw tonight.
Ooh, it's tough to argue with that.
Their only middle win, though, was on TV, and I know you watch it on TV. You say, no, they got the middle win there. I know that. That was their worst quiz of the day. They got a middle win to a very good number 5 seed Mukwonago team. So I don't want to discount Mukwonago. But for what I have seen, and based on the average point total, best team, in my opinion, Faith of Canoga Park.
I can see it. That's tough to argue. Like you said, point-wise, everything like that. That one middle, tough quiz in there.
Would they have 170 points in that middle?
It was like a 20-point difference there.
So even their middle was an impressive middle.
Yes.
170 is an impressive middle.
Yes.
So to me, that's the best team I've seen.
And right now they're sitting at 3rd place coming out of Friday. 3rd seed
and again,
coming out of Friday night.
We'll see how it flows.
There's more to go tomorrow, like
All
we
right.
talked about.
4th seed right now.
Temple.
Mm-hmm. They were the best team I thought coming into the night.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't look bad. So based on what I've seen, I'm not going to take away from what I thought. So you have a Temple team, Faith of Canoga Park, California, Falls, Heritage. I don't think anyone would be surprised to see any of those 4 teams win.
Oh, no, not at all.
Not even a little bit. And that is so rare in Division II. The depth of Elite Division tournaments has increased. Division II tournaments largely hasn't. Even here last year, I felt like there was a separation between 2 seed and 3 seed. Well, it was a good tournament, but I felt like there was a separation. This year, I feel like any of those 4 teams can win it. And then how can I count out Mukwonago? They beat the team I thought was the best.
So every Division II team, I would probably put the split probably between 5 or 6 or 7.
Well, you got First Baptist, Long Beach, and Mountain View, 2 more California teams.
Yeah.
I like both of those teams. In fact, I consider people on both of those teams to be friends, like them. I think they're teams that are good enough to beat teams above them in a quiz. I don't feel like they're teams good enough to win the tournament after what I've seen tonight. So looking forward, if we're gonna spin this whole thing forward, which I like to do, we have the top 4 teams. I think I wouldn't be at all surprised if any of them won it. Mukwonago, it'd be a little surprised, not much. I think that's where the list stops.
Yes.
I think 5. Look, First Baptist, Long Beach. I
could see them getting to the top final 3.
I would love it if they did.
But I don't.
Mountain
think I'm
View,
with you.
I'd love
I don't
it if they
think
got
they
there.
have what it takes to win it all.
And then you have. Those are the top 7 teams. Those are the teams who are pleased with their nights. Let's talk about the teams not so pleased. The teams who are not as happy with how they did. And let's talk about their potential to possibly spin it forward.
Turn it around tomorrow.
Okay, well, first we got Tri-City, their senior high team. I will say this. I watched some Division II quizzes. In my opinion, nobody quizzed smarter than Tri-City Senior High.
It's been a while since we've seen Tri-City at this tournament.
I don't think they're the best team. I think they're the smartest team. I think if it comes down to a competition based on strategy, a competition based on not beating yourself, a competition based on not doing stupid things, Tri-City's going to win that, in my opinion. I felt like they quizzed smart. I think they're growing. I think they're, even though they're senior high, I think they're newer quizzers. I don't know. But I think they quizzed really, really smart.
And I think that goes to their coaching. They've had
Oh, yeah.
They used to come to this tournament quite often, every year since the beginning. We haven't seen them for a few years, but they've had the same coaching staff there.
Yeah,
and that's what it comes to.
Good.
I think they're able to teach them those strategies to quiz smart.
Right.
But I think they're lacking that firepower that we've talked about with other teams.
Well, next, you know what we have? We have the best Woodside team of the night.
The best
of all 4.
Yes.
Woodside Blue.
Woodside Blue. Who do we have on Woodside Blue?
Well, you've got the list right
Yeah,
there. I'll let you read names. You're good at reading names.
Evan Self, Sam Chaney, Mark Fuller, Grace Schmitz, Lance Rawlson, Levi Fadden. It's a little surprising to me. I think they have the best talent spread out.
They must. They were the best team of the night for Woodside.
Personally, that's not looking at the 3 Woodside teams. I haven't seen a lot of their practices this year. To me, it seems like Woodside's kind of spread out their firepower over the 3 Division II teams.
They did seem to make their teams approximately equal, and that's always something you wonder about when you have multiple teams. And with your home tournament, you're going to have multiple teams.
Yeah.
And if they combined everyone, could they win? I think that's the test, and they said maybe not. Let's try to make them as even as possible. But the blue team, they were the best Woodside team of the bunch, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's see what they had.
Well, I mean, not just my opinion. The seeds point that out.
Yeah.
But they looked.
The only Woodside team to have a high tonight.
There you go. All right. Then we had Abilene Christian, or Abilene Baptist, in Kansas. And I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think I saw any of their quizzes tonight.
I did not get to see any of their
quizzes. So did they not quiz in the they quizzed in the auditorium?
They quizzed once in the auditorium, but that was in that Faith and Mukwonago quiz.
They were the third team in the Faith Mukwonago quiz, okay.
Mukwonago and Faith were kind of eating up the questions, I think, before they could get to them.
So
they had a
20-point
loss
quiz there. Look, I love seeing these teams from the middle of the country, Texas, Kansas. Well, let me go geographically correct and put Oklahoma in there, Kansas, Nebraska. Even an Iowa team would be great. To me, I would love to see these teams. I love to see them come, and I'm excited that they are coming. So I love to see that Abilene team there, and I think they're doing well. The next team on the list is Heartland, and the thing I like about them is I think they gave the best interview.
Yeah, Heartland. We had Heartland's coach come on with us. He was fun. We sat and talked a little bit in between quizzes with Heartland.
He wanted to get interviewed. That
he was
excited
for it. He had a fiery group of teenage girls, 3 teenage girls.
Yeah, he did. That was right.
Was fun.
Yeah.
That was funny.
He was. Well, we have a lot of people trying to avoid being interviewed.
Very few.
He was not in that group. No.
It was a nice surprise.
And if you're watching or listening, let me say this: I hope you come back next year, and so we can interview you again.
Yes, please come.
He was great.
That was fantastic.
He was great. Yeah, and his team is growing. They only have 3 quizzers. And look, when you're starting a program and you get 3 quizzers, and I said this in the preview, Park Avenue has owned that state for years at ACS. Heartland's coming in, a newer program. They're trying their best. You love to see that. And they got 3 quizzers, and I hope next year they come with 4. And I hope the year after they come with 5. And I hope they grow, and I hope they grow that program. And they got the enthusiasm down, and they had an ice cream preference also. That, I don't remember.
Talking about Heartland and Abilene, it's nice to see them here at this tournament because really I think this is the biggest tournament that they get to go to.
Well, to be fair, it's the biggest tournament out there.
Yeah, I think it's the best competition they get to face because the only other competitions they have are their state. For Nebraska, Kansas, respectively, and then they have their nationals.
Yeah, I don't have a copy of their quizzing calendar. But I think you're right. I think they have very few options.
Talking to them, they have a little bit, just not a whole lot going in-state.
Sure.
And then they get to travel to
And it's hard when you only have
Missouri.
a couple teams and it's a big, broad state. This is a great tournament for them to come to. And those are groups on the rise.
Yes.
Just 2 years ago, that's how we were talking about Faith, Canoga Park, and Mountain View. And now look at them. They're head up. So to me, that's where I see. That's where I see Heartland. And before we saw Faith of Canoga Park and Mountain View, it was Kettle Moraine.
Yes.
And before that, it was. So you see this progression of teams. I love to see them come here.
They get
love to see them progress.
They catch the spirit. They catch the attitude, and they realize, you know what? This not only is fun, it's beneficial. It's great competition. It makes us better quizzers. It's good for our team.
Absolutely. So just a great thing altogether. So then we have
Woodside Red and White.
We get to the Woodside Red and White, and do you want to say anything?
What is there to say? Woodside Red had 1 fewer low, so congratulations to them.
So Woodside Red on top of Woodside White.
All right, that's about all we got.
You got an accomplishment there.
And then. Bringing up the bottom of the pack.
Tri-City Junior
High.
Yeah.
Which it's great to see them being able to bring as many as they can, bring in 2 teams.
One thing I'm interested in with the pre-bracketing, this is one thing that's good about pre-bracketing, is I would like to see Tri-City Junior High in a quiz against Woodside Red, Woodside White, those bottom 3 or 4 teams. I'd love to see them quiz each other because I think that'll tell us something. I think Tri-City Junior High may win that. They're not fast jumping, but they looked like, man, if we could just get in a quiz where we could get up first, we could do something. And we have so many teams that I think Pastor John is going to have to start a Division III.
Division III?
Yeah, because I think that's where it's going.
All right, I would.
All right, well, let's spin it forward. Give a final thought, and then we'll talk about what Matthew Means does.
I think final thought for tomorrow. One of my favorite parts of the day is the Division II finals, getting down to the last 4 or 5 teams, 3, 4, whatever. Really, really good competition there. We talked about. That's really, it's hard to consider it Division II, just because these are next 2 years elite division. Just give them time, and they're going to be the best quizzers in the country.
Yeah, you got Heritage Falls, Faith of Canoga Park, Temple. All of those teams 3-4 years from now could have that same core together and just see what that would be like in the elite division.
I was talking with Catherine Ludlow, the coach of Heritage New York Division II team. The camera did die. That's why there's no picture. But I was talking to her, and the team that she was on that won nationals is the exact same team that won Division II 3 years earlier.
So we could be watching now the 2018 Elite Division Championship over in the fireplace room.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And like I said, those teams towards the bottom of Division II, I think we'll see those teams do well. And final thought, spinning it forward, I'm encouraged by the depth of Division II as well as the Elite Division.
Absolutely.
And I always say this is the best tournament. Do you have a favorite verse in Matthew?
Oh, it's hard to pick a favorite. Oh my goodness.
Well, and unlike our last guest, who gave us a chapter and verse,
I'm going to struggle to do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I might be able to get it, but I'd probably be one verse off, and I'd get criticized for the next one forever.
Absolutely.
So what I'm going to say is, when it talks about God's love for us, and it talks about how when we ourselves being evil give our kids good gifts, and I think about my kids, and I think about giving them gifts, and I think about I hope to give them good gifts, and if I can give them gifts that are decent, how much more can our Father in heaven give us gifts? And I see it every day. I mean, I talk so much about how great this tournament is. I know people are sick of hearing me talk about it, if they listen.
Yeah.
But for the two people who have never heard a podcast,
if they're sick of hearing how great it is, come to the tournament.
It's a bucket
and
list
find
item.
Out.
It's a bucket list item.
Oh, absolutely.
If you like Bible quiz, it needs to be on your bucket list to come here. But let me just say this. I come out here and I have friends that I don't get to see very often, and they see me, and just the hospitality they show me, the love they show me, the things they do for me, I feel so blessed to have friends. And when you get to know me, it's even more of a blessing that I have friends. I mean, that's really how I feel. So I'm just so glad that some of the gifts God's given me, and I hope that some of the things we're doing here are a blessing to you, even when the camera dies.
So I would say my favorite part of Matthew became my favorite part of Matthew doing a project my freshman year of college. We were going through, long story short, basically telling the story of the Bible. And I think Matthew, you finish Malachi, you have a blank page in your Bible, and that blank page represents 400 years of silence.
And then you recap them on the first page of Matthew.
Then you open up Matthew, and you see angels popping up everywhere, talking to Mary, talking to Joseph, talking to Martha. Just angels popping up saying, okay, get ready. Yeah. Get ready. Get ready.
You know what I like and when you're talking about this, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I love it when you're talking about this and you see God had a plan from the beginning. It wasn't like if you look at the genealogy and you look at some of the the scumbags in said genealogy, if God can use even those people.
Absolutely.
Can he use even, a fat guy who likes to talk a lot? I feel that it's great. This God's plan isn't just like, oh man, what am I going to do now? You see him planning, the son of David, the son of Abraham. From Abraham, all the world is blessed. And I love that. But go ahead and talk about angels talking to Mary and Joseph.
Angels popping up, and all of a sudden you see the whole, everything before and everything after all circles around this one part, and Jesus was born. And that's the whole, everything points to him. Yeah. And through all of Scripture.
And then you know what we do once we get that pointing, you go to the other end of the book, and we're going.
Yes.
Telling the world.
And
making disciples, baptizing them.
I think that's my favorite part of Matthew. I mean, you don't have to read very far into Matthew to find my favorite part.
I know you love things where you don't have to read very far. So
yeah, exactly.
No, well, thanks for sticking with us despite the faulty camera work. And
I hope you guys enjoy listening to us.
Yeah. Well, this has been CI 2015 Division II Friday recap. Saturday look forward. See ya.